Sartaj Singh, you gave in, buddy. Why did you give in? You could have stuck to your morals. Could have rode it through.
Could he, though?
I don't know.
Could he?
I don't know. How long can you hold out before the pressure just caves in on you?
Last good man in Mumbai.
I'm sure there's plenty, and they're watching right now. Hello people, I'm Jaby KOAY, joined by ACHARA KIRK.
Hi there.
Once again, continuing with Sacred Games. As you can probably tell from my voice, it's a little bit beat up. I did a video game audition not too long ago, and they wanted me to pretend I was shooting aliens, and I did with the full thrust of my vocal cords, and then it's just been recovering for a few days. This episode is called Sarama. To save Nayanika, Sartaj intervenes during a raw operation. In 1992, as political unrest increases, so does the bloodshed from Gaitonde and Issa's feud. One of the things I am growing to like more as the show goes on is the back and forth between the two timelines. As we go on, I'm actually enjoying how in the present you see Bunty, who's like this cripple, and well, in this episode he dies, but then you go back and you see like what's leading as these like timelines are kind of converging, so to speak. I think that's really neat. That's a really cool thing.
Yeah, it certainly is. Like, I thought I had more to say, and then I was like, yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. I like playing with nonlinear timelines like that. That's one of the reasons I enjoyed Pulp Fiction so much. Nonlinear stories are cool as long as you pull it off right. One of my favorite executions or examples of that is 21 Grams, where the story jumps around a lot, but it still doesn't lose you and you're still able to kind of find the through line through the story, and it all comes together at the end. It's a great example of nonlinear storytelling, as well as this, where it's going back and forth and you're kind of finding out how everything got there.
Yeah, it's really fun to just kind of see how it
all
develops.
Pieces
Yeah. But I still have so many questions.
I think that this episode in particular leaves you with more questions, because more than the last episode that we talked about. It's like it is very fragmented and you're really trying to just piece it together. But there was some cool moments in the show. I really like this one particular shot when Saif Ali Khan realized he was confronting a decoy, and he goes a different path, and the sniper on top of the roof decides to follow him. And it's this shot looking down that was so cool because it was them walking together at the same time. I just thought it was a really neat shot.
They had some really great aerial shots in that episode.
I may have said this briefly before, but the more the show goes on, Sartaj Singh's storyline is reminding me of Sicario. Because he's this guy who's kind of stuck in the middle of all this, and he's sort of being blamed for stuff, and he gave in, at the end of this last episode when he really didn't want to. It's almost like a gun was put to his chin, and he was a woman named Emily Blunt.
Yep.
It literally feels like Sicario, because he has no power, yet he is the guy who's at the front line, kind of seeing how all this is going down and trying his best to understand it, but has no clue as to what's really going on. And meanwhile, Raw has a much bigger operation at play, and all he's doing is kind of impeding it when he's just trying to do what's right. One of the things that really stood out to me in this particular episode was how expendable people are. They touched on that before, but it was really clear here, because the girl that he was trying to save, that he was trying to save, was going to be sacrificed for this information that Bunty had. That's a person though. Like, what are you doing to make sure that person's going to be okay? She's all beat up and messed up. Like, you're just going to let that person go? That's a human being.
I thought it was very interesting though, that line that Radhika Apte's character said, where she was kind of saying like, you're just, a typical man. You always want to be the hero. You always feel like you have to save a woman.
That felt a little bit out of left field for me.
It was, yeah. But I thought it was an interesting line.
I mean, I'll forgive it only because she had been dealing with that. And so it's very easy to perceive the possibility that she projected that.
I think so,
yeah. Because of her own hang-ups, because of what she's been dealing with in her own work environment. She was basically projecting onto him, and he's like,
I don't know what you're talking about, lady.
What?
Yeah.
Women are so weird.
Yeah, right? She's going through, like, her own thing. And like how we often say, sometimes when women are in roles that are traditionally inhabited by men, they feel like they have to be extra hard.
Yeah, we said that before.
Yeah.
What's interesting, though, is that she saved him at the end. She didn't tell her superior officer that Sartaj was... She said it was a rival gang or something like that at the end of the episode, if I'm recalling correctly.
Yeah, they both lied.
They both lied. She lied about him not being there when he was. It seems like, at first glance, that she was doing that to protect him. We don't know for sure.
She could be protecting herself.
She could be protecting herself,
Yeah.
or she could have a bigger, objective at play, and she doesn't want to let that on yet. So far, it seems like she's protecting him, and it may be because she realized that maybe she was wrong in her response to him. Because there was that one moment where she went to his door with the alcohol or something like that.
That was way earlier.
Yeah,
though.
it was, but I'm saying she likes him.
Oh, yeah. Talking about Sartaj Singh, though, I wanted to say this. Sometimes watching his storyline is just so frustrating because it seems like this dude just can't get a break. Everything he does it meaning so well all the time, and then he just bungles it up somehow.
Well, it's not him necessarily.
But yeah, it's like the circumstances surrounding him.
He's alone. I mean, he's alone in his endeavor. Even his partner was like ignoring his phone calls when he needed his help. See, I was telling you before that woman who was talking about her son pleading for the whereabouts of her son. I was telling them that was going to come back and it was going to be a bigger deal, and it turned out to be part of the central piece in the show that was dictating Sartaj Singh's destiny, his future. Like, he's the subject of Sartaj Singh's relationship with his colleagues. I wish it was a little bit clearer as to why his superior officer shot the kid.
Exactly.
And just killed him. I don't know what the benefit of that was.
There's some corruption going on here for sure, because we're already seeing it in the police trying to cover up this whole thing with Gaitonde, and his colleagues' ulterior mission was to take out Bunty, and then someone else took him out. But they have all this corrupt stuff going on, and they're not really doing what is lawfully correct.
This is also illustrating how these two different factions of the law are just not communicating very well. And I think that is not something that's unique to India. I think that's something that happens over here as well, where you got these different, you get the CIA, the FBI, the NSA, and it's like all these different units, and they
don't trust each other.
And they don't trust each other. They're all doing their own thing. And I mean, it's just that's really frustrating, because we all kind of have the same objective at the end of the day, which is to protect our people.
Yeah.
I really like that moment when Sartaj Singh steps out, Saif Ali Khan steps out after totally just abandoning his morals, and then he sees the picture of the kid, and people are like, tell us where he is. That was just that was heartbreaking.
Yeah,
I could, he wasn't doing much in that moment, but you could see what he felt. You could just see that he was just guilt-ridden.
Talking about emotional moments, though.
Yeah.
When the guy died in the car crash, and then Gaitonde had a breakdown.
Oh, when he got shot up.
Yeah, he got shot up. Yeah. That's right. That kind of came out of left field for me. Gaitonde's response to that guy, because it seemed like before that, he was just so annoyed by him.
He was
constantly.
very dismissive of him.
Yeah, he was superstitious. He didn't like that. He didn't always listen to him.
The reason I think the reason why he felt bad is because he realized how he mistreated him. This guy only sought to take care of him with the ring. The ring was a big thing. He woke up with the ring, and he realized that this guy was just trying to do him right. I mean, I don't know. That's what it seemed to me.
Or maybe he was a father figure to him or something.
Possibly. It was a little bit confusing, because his last phone call with him, he's like, "You just want money." But the guy didn't really respond to that. He just laughed it off. And he just kept doing his thing of trying to be helpful, is what it seemed like. And so I imagine the reason why he was crying is because he realized that he was bad to him. Maybe I'm projecting from my own experiences, but I think that's what happened. But he just, regretted his last exchange with him, essentially. Oh, before I forget, I wanted to mention how cool it was in the previous episode, during that whole shootout sequence, how Nawazuddin Siddiqui's character, Gaitonde, was just moving as this gunfire's going off, and he's just walking like James Bond through it all, because this guy's seen the worst of it. I don't know, I just liked his calm, cool attitude as he was walking through the gunfire. No guns, just moving,
Because he's a god.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was surprised that, what's her name, Cuckoo killed herself, as opposed to getting shot by Isa.
Yeah, because you were all like, oh no, they killed her.
There's two ways to look at that. Either A, that's stupid, because she could have just gotten killed by the gunfire. It would have been all the same, and it would have further motivated Gaitonde's character to take out and eliminate Isa's team. Or it's the unexpected thing where they pulled the rug out from under you, which would be consistent with the show, because the show has been consistently surprising me. You're expecting that the gunfire is what killed her, but she killed herself because she wanted to be taken out of this world. So she did it on her own terms.
She was really unhappy, it seemed.
Well, she felt guilty is what it seemed like. The unhappiness stemmed from her feeling inadequate, her inability to fully provide. You know, he can't give her kids, blah, blah, blah. Give him kids, excuse me.
Yeah, I was like,
It was an interesting episode to say the least. The show is continuing to captivate me and hold my attention. So I'm very much looking forward to the next episode. And I'm hoping that a few more answers come into play.
Yes, please.
But I'm sure it'll all get sorted out by the end of the season, hopefully.
I hope so.
And then we'll have a Stranger Things ending for season 2, unless everybody dies. You guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Please let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And just as I said before, I'm not looking at any comments at all until I've watched all 8 episodes, because 2 videos ago, some of the stuff got spoiled before the show showed it to me. So I apologize, a couple of people ruined it for everybody. So I can't dialogue with you in the comments or read it until the show's over. But I will read it. I will go back and read it. Check out ACHARA KIRK on the social media. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out our other reactions, reviews, and short films. I'm Jaby KOAY. This is
ACHARA KIRK.
Peace out.